Okay, see, back here now we're going to talk about a bunch of Zionist Jews in Colombia. That's the one that gets a bad head about pro-Palestine protesters. Now this is from February of last year. Colombian networks pushed behind the scenes, report and arrest student protesters. Now you all the people complaining about why ain't protesting against Gaza genocide by Israel this year or last year. That's going to give you a kind of a idea why. When President Donald Trump issued an executive order threatening to deport international students involved in the pro-Palestine protests, with that guy probably got blackmailed over him by dealing underage schools by Mossad and Bibi Netanyahu. But let's get back. Protests have expressed intermittent concern that the move would target demonstrators, particularly Muslim and Arab students, for engaged activity protected by the First Amendment. Some members of the Colombian community, however, left out the chance to get young people claim the supporter of Hamas detained and deported. Some people, a large WhatsApp group, Colombia Alumni for Israel, count over 1,000 members, including parents of at least one student, and Colombia's professors welcome Trump's plans. Reports of Gaza reports or a topic conversation in the Colombia Alumni for Israel group before order comes down on the president's first day in office. The group mentioned flyers advertising a pro-Palestine gender walkout to push schools to drop disciplinary action against anti-war protests. Democratic Colombian students, Hamas sympathizers who shows up, keep reporting those with student visa form, but Colombian teachers. College sister Lynn Besky Thomas said in the chat. According to screenshots from the WhatsApp group obtained by the Intercept. The Colombia's student Hamas sympathizer who shows up is key to reporting those with student visa form, but Colombian teachers. Says President Lynn Besky said in the chat. According to screenshots from WhatsApp group obtained by the Intercept. Victor Mosley and another 11 pro-Israel activists, but if there are photos of someone who needs to be identified, either with a pretty much skill file have access to detect them may help to DM me. With a few days, another member posts a link to the U.S. Immigration Customs Force zip line. Let's get to work. Late January, group members shared an article about students spray painting a building and put cement in a sewage line to protest the anniversary of Israel killing of a 6-year-old Hein redhead. BuzzFeed Tom responded to the article and requested who was funding the protest. And they arrested him for hate crimes and signed up have to get rid of them. BuzzFeed Tom declined to comment. The activity of the chat group was formed in the wake of Hamas October 7th that comes amid a widespread crackdown on dissent over Israel war on Gaza. Colombia disciplined and suspended Fred helped create an environment that form a tax using quarter and other tax. Members of the pro-Israel website identities were confirmed by the Intercept using the phone number piece after discussing how the report to people in law enforcement. The World Connected NRU parent is trying to get student reported. Yeah, I think it's probably Bill Ackman. With Trump taking over Oval Office, right-wing pro-Israel activists have focused energy on using their draconian immigration policy to deal with Israel critics, including efforts to paint international student protests as terrorists to have them released. It's very disturbing that parents of journalists said Albert, director of the civil rights group American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, really is across the board attempt to silence and take away the First Amendment right to people simply because they don't agree with it, and it's very dangerous. Critics of the school policy told president says Columbia ministers have done little to intervene with attacks on students. In fact, on Thursday, two Columbia Professor alumni demanding that the school to condemn calls to deport students. The Palestine exemptions the First Amendment to a right of free speech have been something that's been ongoing for many years, said Sabi Ehabit, a staff attorney at the Syrian Liberty Group. Palestinian leader will filed a complaint about the anti-Palestine demonstrations led to a federal investigation. The success offense against pro-Palestinian students and faculty on campuses across the country today stands as testament how far administrations have let pro-Israel applicants take the attack. Abbott said those efforts started before Trump took off. These areas have been laying the groundwork for whatever Trump wants to do. The target of the students did not begin once Trump was inaugurated. It began last year, and they were started targeting students, putting them in disciplinary process. Disciplinary proceed, calling law enforcement and police to college campus and put the students around. We have a list as campus protests grew in response to Israel assaulted campus alumni for Israel. Once that group kicked it over, it soon became a helpful effort to identify students and facility protests. Claim they have links to Hamas and direct reported to the school. The law fest acted for less anti-Semitic activity, which pro-activity include anti-Zionist space. Screenshot proof has shown members frequently single out Palestinian, Arab, Muslim students, including some who have already faced discipline, fraction and other students, including Jewish students, leader Oaks Land of the group's court. Several members have shown chat matters to discuss how to make report to law enforcement, including the New York Police and the FBI. Far-right group building a list of appropriate activities to report. Yeah. Several issues named by the Rots Act group have already been targeted named by the Canary Mission, which publishes profile students involved in anti-Zionist activism. Well, the social media post in the group documented Jew hatred on campus at Columbia U, which at least one member is involved in one member was named a Twitter post from the Zionist group Better was last month sent a list of students who were deported to the White House and federal agencies including ICE. Students are effectively targeted at the screenshot from the chat declined to claim the insiders was holding their names to protect them from any possible how Columbia responded to group after it is uncleared, and several group has corresponded with the discriminators colludes. Columbia's interim president, trustees, donors, and executive vice president. This is the reason why some of these efforts are not public vote. Heather Krasner, no social need of career service to Columbia. For a turn meeting with Columbia top crew administrator, if a certain amount of efforts were published, specific individual will be possibly be fired. Because who handled the WhatsApp group was simply the letter H. Raised the effort would backfire by giving poor miss facility for legal weapon by claiming external force or trying to influence it. If just cross free tree, a lot of happening is confidential and for that reason. Glasser declined to respond to the question. Okay, well, Yeah. I'm going to cut short. I don't have much time. I think I just kind of pause and all that. And my voice gets a bit thing. I want to have something to say before my voice gets out. I just don't even know whether there's any given try to make this fact a foreigner or on a visa or not. If he's not on a visa, given that Biden opened the border, was also wrote actually a false white claim about former President Joe Biden's immigrants. Oh yeah, guy's accent, white ring, kook. Does anybody have a list of GP members, special groups leaders on a way to get Muslim road? Another member, my daughter will send me a list shortly. After names were sent, Muslim was accepted. Thank you, but we need more of these random names of potential low-ranked men. We need to hold the leaders possible for this anti-Semitic op-ed by the fact. Oh yeah. We need to hold members accountable for the membership of this picture or any club membership listed on. See, I want to obtain a list of members from the Columbia Students Club. Discussing groupers include several people in the teaching positions in Columbia. Also focus efforts to meeting with the school administrator and donors about the Columbia's handling of campus fees and discussing in late 2023 how to get donors like billionaire former team here, Walbert Kraft influenced the school's action. Frank wrote, Robert's very aware of the situation. Kraft announced last April that he would have withdrawn freshman support over its handling protest. Another group member also shared a screenshot of Kraft's contact card and asked a friend, new Kraft person, and that would reach out. Guys, another chair with the Columbia Department of Electrical Engineers, along with the Columbia Business Group Professor Rand Kivitz and Sal David, all members of the WhatsApp group. David became famous for his tirade against Donald's protest and had been accused of numerous slick protests of online harassment. At one point, Reverend Faraday urged the removal of a dean over public comment at the school convocation last year. David, who was suspended from the Columbia campus after posted over the confrontation with university staff online, declined to be interviewed without a video call. Congress did not respond to the innocent request from the useless. The member of the school's anti-Semitism was formed in November 23 and amid protest. Stacks with vocal support of Israel pushed the university include expression of anti-Semitism under the definition of anti-Semitism. Jews made regular policy of the WhatsApp group by posting news stories with sharing their social media posts and asked people to save the protest material for archive of the school. In July, Columbia alumnus Alan Kaufman told the group that he scheduled a meeting that fucked weeks of the university dominant arm of the behalf of the private equity firm. My instinct is to personally tell them that we don't want the money and explain why. About it, realize maybe more attractive to take the media and challenge than what's going on at Columbia and what, if anything, the investment arm of the dominant can sort of do about it. Columbia asked for anything at the point. I'm going to have to get the point right there. Okay, to all you damn anti-rap who are crying about protests, if I look you up, I'll probably send you this little flag. You can fly and say, I support Israel. And by the way, you can go fuck yourself. Steve Pitt, yeah. I'll just go to the library and go to the computer, get online, or some of these digital news. Just go around and find some news and hear something a little bit sad. Cornel to pro-Palestine students targeted by ICE. Come back to the U.S. and lose funding. but due to terminated Thomas Johnson was finishing their graduate degrees abroad because talking about the Trump administration, cornel is ordering them to back camps. What the fuck are these damn people? According to universities, reneging on its pledge to help the two graduate students avoid immigration detention by threatening to cut their funding if they don't return to the United States, where the Trump administration is targeting them for possible deportation or the participation in a pro-Palestine protest. Dialing University of Prius told Manu Tal and Amandala Thomas Jordan that they could finish the degree with funding abroad, according to both Tal and Cornell's graduate students union after the Trump administration began to pursue both students in March of 2025. Tal and Thomas Johnson fled to Cairo plan to complete their studies there. Tal's attorneys the students are not sure if they're deported or against them on Homeland Security investigation, immigration, and customs enforcement. Business has lost inquiries concerning both of them. And Tal was ordered to appear at an ICE office last year. Students believe they will likely be detained by immigration authority upon the return to the United States. Now the schools of these camps in Ithaca, New York, this fall will lose the funding. I don't want either way that if they do come back, I don't think those two be probably decent campus in Israel. They'd probably be in a goddamn concentration camp. One funded by G Group, was one of those private prison corporations. Now the school says the two students must either they knew that I can't come back, which is probably most likely, or they actually want me to come back and get arrested or whatever. Tal told the Intercept interview, because of my Palestinian activism, I've been treated very differently than people who are in similar circumstances. Students have previously worked with other students experienced visa issues to continue their studies. While for Northern Tal and Nia Gluska, president of the Council's Graduate Students Union. Cornell declined to comment on Tal and Thomas's case, but in written statement, the info spoken said the idea that the university is targeting students for protest activity untrue and unfounded. Well, I think it's being a pressure to target them. Spokesman added that Cornell University remained deeply committed to helping international students make the academic progress for the kind of visa or time-related challenges. Cornell funding is the sole source of financial support for Tal and Thomas Johnson. They don't lose or hurt their ability to pay for housing, food, and other expenses. I have no money, and where I am because the cost of living is cheaper. Thomas said, I got through day-to-day anxiety. I got expected to finish a PhD. If I don't get funding, I'm going to be homeless, Tal said. I'm not going to be able to make rent. Core spokesman added that the students outside the U.S. can apply for fellowship funding, but those opportunities for counter-commercial will close must go, Tal said. Cornell knows further that Mona will be immediately detained and sent to one of the places where more people are dying than ever before, facing all sort of abuse simply for his speech. So Eric Lee, a civil rights attorney representative for the university, claimed they offered something fair as level as saying some was going to deliver as an institution with experience of Cornell. In March, Attorney Tal, a British campaign is still citizen. And Thomas Johnson, also a British citizen, fled the country. Men harassed deportation requests with the administration was targeted. International students activism has evolving times protests against genocide and apartheid in Palestine. We're trying to avoid the treatment getting to high profile figure like alumni university student Mona Cowley and Moshe Howie. Town is taking part in the September 2024 protests shut down a corner job fair where rep manufacturers Boeing and L3 Harris would supply weapons to Israel Had with both barristers were suspended after this. Have been banned from campus with laws exposed them to deportation. After Trump minister took office early 2025, Tal sued the ministries over the executive order targeting pro-Palestinian activists, arguing to deny activists' First Amendment right. Days later, immigration enforcement ordered Tal to surrender authority and the agents appeared at a student's house after a federal judge declined to block Tal decided to leave the U.S. on his own court of avoid ICE detention in order for the beauty of living. Thomas just followed suit, fleeing Canada, the Switzerland, and Ghana before events joined Talent. This reported revealed that leading up to the departure from the U.S., Google has secretly handed eyes the student's Gmail account of players subpoena demanding the bank credit card number. Oh yeah, focusing on trying to bank them. The department's orders to limited teaching assistants letter. Well, I require you to be on campus with the New York to assist with classes. Call strict class to be taught person on campus online course enough. Now saying he was finished is started by spring 27. If you see his most recent strike from school May and on a normal funding because we're going to another step in this spot. Tal 2027 that it could now review by the end of this episode that the annual funding of $67 will be guaranteed for the first 5 years of the program. Tal is in the 5th year of the program to the African stories. Emails with the department from March. Knows why the interception. Gore extended similar offers to Thomas Johnson, who is in his 6th year of the program. He could continue funding by teaching several courses in the department in the literature of English. Also on campus. He previously taught a freshman. Rights from every Zoom during the program due to unrelated universities. Both students requested why the university could not accommodate the same thing, even after he fully explained the immigration status in the days of return to the U.S. He said he had the university to be down to the in-person requirement. Graduate students for unified agreements against the offers. They reached the collective bargaining agreement with the university. At a meeting, Cornell and Minister of the University did not have the obligation to fund international students who are facing visitors. Neil Lasker said that policy was clear because Neil was controlling the incident. But last year, he said that Cornell Minister told you that individual arrangements were made so that graduate students with visas or difficult to return to the U.S. cannot complete the degree remotely without continuing funding this. It's no contest the movement and all the first grad to be impacted by this policy, and as two grads did speak out against Cornell's place in the Zionist side Palestine. It's full example by Cornell's deal with Trump. Many grads will be impacted by Cornell is going to start and not going to vote progress against Chelsea. Cornell supposedly denied that it was a violation of any policy that raised political targeting. Cornell is opposed to the graduate student fund is long-standing and its long chains and deviation from university policy. Graduate funding is unrelated to the protest activity in November. Now considering returning to Ghana where he has family and he said an unstable and electricity access would be makes switches difficult. He and Thomas has the reservation about recording with both irrelevant because the government is targeting pro-Palestinian activists. This year, reported being detained by birds 36 hours, Polania and Landia, German Heathrow Airport. While he was in the custody, officer called custody phone and laptop took a statement question about the mosque attack going up. the Islam teacher for when he had Ray Karl Marx. That days came after the United States Special Rapture appointed the U.S. High School led to Cornell president for warning of serious concern over the reported human rights violations against Ms. Tao and Ms. Jones over the school's calendar. Just like the case in 2024. We're trying to make an example out of media and more do for political choices. John says it's easy for them to sideline us who stand for where we are.